Now, legislation filed this week by Republicans in North Carolina would allow parents and others to sue schools alleging violations of the Parents' Bill of Rights. House Bill 636 would allow people to sue school districts and seek nearly $5,000 per violation of the Bill of Rights. The Parents' Bill of Rights prohibits gender identity being taught through K through 4th grade and requires parents to be notified if their child wants to use another name or pronoun while in school.
All right, so let's bring in Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. And Khalif, what's the argument here for parents to be able to sue and even get compensation?
Well, we talked about floodgates 2 times. We can talk about it one more time. Okay. Typically, you don't want a municipality, you don't want a school district being sued. And so they are shrouded in protection. They're covered with this invisible force field, typically called immunity, where you can't sue them. It's extremely hard to sue. I mean, you got to jump over 1 million different barriers to sue. And so if you look at the title of this proposed bill, it says an act to ensure that there are procedures in place if harmful content gets in students' hands, and specifically talking about banned books, talking about naming, talking about a number of things that will be in violation of the 2023 Parents' Bill of Rights. And so I think it's opening the opportunity, which wouldn't have been there had they not had this bill, for parents to bring a claim if there is a violation. I mean, so you can talk about declaratory judgment. That would be a judge telling them that you guys can't do X, Y, and Z. But then there's also monetary relief, that $5,000. So there are a number of avenues that are going to be opened with this. But I also think now our state is opening himself up to a lot of legal challenges that may make its way up to the Supreme Court.
I mean, we're talking even about if there's, I think it's 5 successful challenges to the Bill of Rights and they found the school district has not done those correctly, the superintendent could lose their job or have to have the salary reduced there. At what point is it too much oversight from parents instead of a, say, elected school board?
Well, as a parent of 4 students that are in school right now, I mean, I definitely want to be able to have an input and have some participation in the decision making that goes on through my child's education process. Sure. And I think a lot of that happens with the folks that you elect to your school board. A lot of that happens for the folks that you elect to your superintendents and things like that that make the curriculum, that create the rules. Those are the things that I think as a parent, my vote helps push that process. Now on the punishment process, again, I think you're opening up Pandora's box, because now every parent that can do that, it's not just the $5,000 that you're talking about. I tell clients this all the time. Litigation's expensive. So if you come to me and you talk about you want to sue someone, I just want to know how deep are your pockets, because at the end of the day, and that's not a joke, that's the truth. It may cost you $5, it may cost you $50, it may cost you $100,000, and it may be, you only may be getting $5,000 in the end. And now are we attempting to just prove a point, or are we attempting to ensure that we get something changed? And sometimes folks are saying, I could care less what the amount is, I just want to prove my point. And now if I recognize that, I'm okay, this is what you're walking into, but I want to make sure I have that conversation with folks, because it's expensive to file a claim. And so something like this, when you're going up against a school board, now you're talking about costs on both sides, costs for the school district and costs for this individual. And so this is only taking up legal fees, if anything. And so for $5,000, it typically seems like that's a lower amount, where the cost of this will, I guarantee, exceed $5,000.
And some of the language in there, it does say that parents, they can't be trigger happy and just start suing left and right over something that they may feel happened with their child. It says parents have to exhaust all remedies with administration before even filing a lawsuit. So before you can even file, you better go through all the channels, go through the principal, the school district association office if you have to, before you even make it to this level.
That's normal. I mean, and they pulled that language from most any other type of lawsuit. If you're going to bring a lawsuit, say for employment discrimination, you have to have already exhausted your remedies that are there. You went to your supervisor, you talked to your supervisor, okay, they failed to react. Okay, now I went to the EEOC. Okay, the EEOC didn't do anything. All right, now I can bring my claim. It will be the exact same way, because again, we're trying to stop the floodgates from opening. Have you jumped over enough hoops to ensure that we don't have everybody suing, but we have folks that will qualify and that have done enough things to get there? But I think this is going to be problems, even if you look at the language. And when we talk about First Amendment arguments, that's the first thing I say. And that's why I think it gets us to the Supreme Court. It says to make a procedure talking about content. And I've said that a number of times here. They can chill speech any way they want. But if you're talking about content, it has to be content neutral. This is specifically saying that I want to put a procedure in place if harmful content gets in the hands of children. It's not content neutral. It's content specific. We're saying this specific type of content has got in the hands of children. That's a red flag for First Amendment violations. So most of the folks that are attempting to challenge these type of laws that are popping up, not just in North Carolina, but everywhere, they're saying that I think you guys are overstepping, while by your attempt to try to protect kids, you may be saying you're infringing on now other folks' First Amendment rights.
All right, very interesting. We'll see how that bill advances in North Carolina, and we'll keep an eye on that. Khalif, thank you.